This is okay, no? This is okay, no?
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah. Okay. Hi.
Yeah. Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Media every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share it with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today, we are joined by Mayur Kalbag, author and motivational speaker. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about Mayur before we continue. Uh, Mayur is a motivational speaker, a leadership coach, and a behavioral trainer by profession. His hobby of writing poetry and prose evolved into a serious and inspired vocation 12 years ago. He's written two books of poetry titled Smile at Stress and Rising Waterfall. Adventures of Purna is his first book of prose. The evolution from poetry to writing an adventure story happened upon his return from a spiritual sojourn to the Kailash and Manasarovar Lake in the Himalayas. This was in the year 2001, along with his revered guru, Swami Jat Tankara
Gosh.
Sankarashtra. Apart from this, Mayur is a passionate painter, artist, and has made his mark in the abstract and contemporary genre with art exhibitions in India and Switzerland. An adventurer at heart, Mayur is an avid trekker and rock climber. However, apart from all this, his true passion is imagining, exploring, and then articulating new realms of philosophical fiction and spiritualism through writing and painting. His latest book, Aghori, an untold story, is a vibrantly colored collage of varied experiences that the protagonist, Subraya or Subbu, as he's fondly addressed, goes through. Subbu's extremely deep and earnest desire to know more about the Aghoris sadhus, Babas, become the basis of this most unique and indelible journey of adventures and experiences. The book is not just a story, but an opportunity for the reader to experience an exuberant expedition that incorporates different and diverse activities, which are spiritual, intriguing, ethereal, and at times frightening. Aghori, an untold story, has been written in an autobiographical form with the intense intent of the author to make the reader feel that he or she is a part of all the adventures and experiences. I believe that it's completely up to the reader, or a better word would be the viewer, to infer whether the story of Subbu and his journey with the Aghoris is fiction or reality. Very interesting, Mayur. And before we
Thank you.
start, Mayur, I just thought we could show a video of the
Sure.
untold story, Agori, the
Sure.
untold story. Is that okay with you?
Should be fine. Sure.
Yeah. Just a second. Just give you a second.
Sure. लाइफ में फ्रेश होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है इसलिए डिलीशियस 3 layers वाले वैक्यूम पैक
Yeah. So very nice to see your your endeavor at bringing out the truth about the Aghori. Now, Mayur,
Thank you.
see,
Yes.
right from the start, let me just tell you one thing, is that a lot of the people are under the misconception that Aghoris are very frightening people, and they have supernatural powers which can harm you, and the very fact that, see, they look very aggressive, they can also be, do anything like lose their temper and attack you. So these are some of the misconceptions, and also the fact that they smoke, they have drugs and they eat flesh. So these are some of the misconceptions that the mainstream media throws at us. Now, very interestingly, you've done a complete study, though you don't call it a documentary, you call it, a fiction, but in an autobiographical mode. So,
Sure.
how did your interest in Aghoris, sadhus, start? Could you tell us about that?
Sure. First and foremost, Meena, from my heart, a very sincere gratitude to you and to your team for creating this opportunity for me to speak about something that I feel deeply about. I'm a Hindu. I'm a human. I'm part of Earth, and there are certain things which, like you asked me about certain entities on Earth, like Aghoris, which I felt I should share that which I have explored, probably have experienced as well, and share. So thank you for that, for creating this platform. And my namaskar and good day to all the people who are watching this particular interaction. All right. Let me start this with what I always feel is a positive vibration. One is by exclaiming Har Har Mahadev, and something which I brought from the Himalayas. It's a Tibetan ball, and I want to start this. I want to start this not with my vibration, but the vibration emanating out of this ball. So let me see if it comes out.
Yeah.
It's very deep, and the most amazing part about this, Meena, is not just this. It's not just this. It is what really blew me out. Was this.
Yeah.
It's very deep. I can actually feel the vibration on my palms. I really felt it's important that I, start this wonderful interaction with this vibration. Okay, let me tell you that whatever I'm going to answer is going to be as concise and yet meaningful as possible. But if you want me to elaborate, then please do that. I'm absolutely fine. Okay. So, as a child, and I'm going to say some things which our viewers may feel, Bapre, is it really? But I'm going to speak my heart. And that's how I've always been.
Just before you start, Mayur, one
Sure.
second. There's some disturbance coming from your end. So is there
Okay.
some? Yeah. Is a fan
Okay,
on
maybe.
or something?
I think so. What I'll do is, if you can just give me a minute, because I'll have to really go and get that done. So one second.
Okay,
Now.
please.
In that time, you can admire the paintings of the background.
Okay.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah. So here, friends, what Mayur said is that after his visit to Mount Kailash, his creative skills became magnified, and that's how he started painting. And some of the work that you see behind are abstract artworks inspired by his trip to Mount Kailash.
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, it's much.
Sorry about that. These are the sorry to the viewers, but these are the things which we don't think about, no? The technical aspects. So sorry about that. So let me very quickly let me respond to your question. See, as a child, I have always been brought up with respect to going to temples. Very devout Hindus praying, which was very good. But I was more keen, even as a kid. I was very keen by the appearances of what. That time I didn't know, but they were sadhus, especially those who had jatas. So something that I felt drawn to, something that they had, something that was their aura. And interestingly, while others wouldn't want to venture, I was more keen on going closer to them. Like you said, their disposition is scary, and that is what got me more fearless.
Yeah.
It's a paradox, but I don't know. I mean, I tell people about this in the sense that it's as difficult as explaining the taste of water. I mean, I can't explain, but I also believe in past life samskaras, which is why I'm in love with my guru from the time I saw his picture in 1997. Such a small picture in a magazine saying that he's going to be our guru, a Mathadipati. We are Chitrapur Saraswat Brahmins. And so I just fell in love, and I can't explain because there's a past life connection. So my answer to your question is something as a child, that seed that was there within me, which I brought back or brought with this in this life, got, something awakened that seed. And that's what made me want to know more and more about sadhus. And the more I got to know, I realized the Aghori sadhus are probably the most beautifully mysterious sadhus. Like exactly. So they appear very different. They also are very different because they don't, follow or conform to what we think is the right way or the best way or the most effective way to attain, as we call Shivatva or enlightenment. So I'm just keeping my answer to this. You can also ask me, maybe something more connected. Okay, I remember the question you also mentioned about the misconception. So,
yeah.
See, do we really define Aghori sadhus only by the fact that they smoke, only by the fact that they sort of apparently eat flesh? There have been videos, Meena, where on YouTube where the title of it is cannibals. Can you believe that? They're called cannibals. I mean, that's technically also wrong because cannibals are those who kill and eat. So let me tell you what I have studied and understood, okay, after I met a couple of them. There are many fakes. Just like in every form, Meena, of life, there are genuines and there are fakes. You look at jewelry, there's genuine and there's fake. So it's there everywhere. But there are genuine ones who are not. See, when they practice certain kriyas, certain vidhis, it requires them to get a little high, okay? And when I say high, not in the typical materialistic way. They need to push their way of thinking to a level where they completely get focused on their mantras or tantra that they practice. I know of some rituals where they're supposed to sit on the burnt ashes of a person, okay, in the cremation ground. But do they live at cremation grounds? That's another myth, Meena. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't live all the time. They live in the jungles. There are so many enlightened Aghoris, for example, living in the Girnar forest. So there's a lot that I felt I could share, which is why Aghori An Untold Story was titled as that, because so much needs to be told. And now I'm working on the part 2 as well. So based on the demand, there's so much more to be told. Yeah. So that's where I put a comma to my response to your question.
Yeah, yeah. Also, Mayur, see, like many other things, for example, in earlier times, we were told not to take coconut oil. It's very bad for our health. And today, people are only using coconut oil. And so many other
Exactly.
things. See, what did you hear about India earlier? You heard about beds with nails, or snakes. Snake charmers. So it is, in a sense, they were either they had limited imaginations or they were just trying to stereotype India. So that's
True.
one of the reasons why all this sort of, what do you say, bakwas about Aghori sadhus, happened. And
Meena, if I can just interject, very simplistically, who is an Aghori? What is an Aghori? You ask anybody there, they'll say, oh, they do this, they do that. But what is an Aghori? Who is an Aghori? Aghori is itself a word which stands for he or she who is fearless.
Yeah.
Aghor. Ghor is darkness. Is he or she who's not scared of the darkness. And like you just mentioned, they only are looked at as they eat the flesh and they smoke all the time, they drink all the time. They don't. The image that you're showing now is one of the kriyas that they do. See, what we call is the chakra awakening, for example. They have other nomenclatures for that. When I interacted with one of the Aghoris, in his firm, almost fearfully firm tone, he explained some of them, but he said, I will not allow you to tell anybody. And some things he said, I cannot tell you. So I think I always feel that before we make any judgments, no, anybody, we need to be a little more clear about that aspect that we are judging by studying more. Like even I used to be given so much of stuff here to consume that ye wo karte hain. See, when they have a skull, right? They use a skull.
Yeah.
They use it as part of their kriya.
Yeah.
They use it to even not only for kriya, they even use it to carry their basic necessities. Now, the misconception is they eat flesh. They don't eat flesh because कि उनको भूख लगी है, they're hungry, so they'll cook. It's, I mean, crazy. No, it is a part of something that they do for only for that much, and that too they listen.
Yeah.
They also consume it not because of the taste. It is supposed to give them some energy. Okay, so my point is they eat food, they eat rice, they are in a human form, but then their kriyas are very different. A lot of people don't understand that, but they enjoy getting deceived into believing that they do all the things like smoking and all, and they feel, wow, they're amazing, they do that kind of stuff. Or they do ganja, so even we can do some shit. No, it doesn't work that way. They are very, very different. They meditate a lot. Their tapasya, I mean, you can you imagine going and sitting in the cremation ground for not a day, not 2 days, not 2 weeks, sometimes even 12 years? We can't even walk to the cremation ground after darkness. Yeah? I mean, anybody of us. Yeah?
Yeah.
So imagine their level of nishtha, conviction towards Shiva. We don't understand them, which is why the book is there for you to understand a little bit.
Yeah. So is it true that they sit on the the embers and meditate?
They do, yes.
Cremation.
So they believe that the cremation ground is a place with vibrant energies moving around, and their kriyas are to develop certain siddhis or powers which help them to even manipulate in a positive way those energies to help them reach higher levels of sadhana. That's the way. So when one of that is to sit on the pyre or that the ash, so a lot of these Naga Babas as well, a lot of sadhus, they apply ash, right? So they apply normal jo wood ka hota hai. These also these people, the Aghori Babas, their connection is to the ashes that happen out of a burning of the dead person. It's also said that they prefer to have a young person's body burnt, right? So they say that energy is more beneficial to them. So that's how deep and that's how different they are. Some of their penances or their penance is, or tapasya is where they'll keep their hand in a particular position for years. It is their way to strengthen. It is their way to strengthen their willpower to keep meditating. Just tell me, Meena, like when I sit for meditation, after an hour, my legs go wooden. After 2 hours, my mind goes wooden because I'm not. These people can sit in meditation for weeks, days. There are Aghoris, I've called them in the book Aghoris. They can meditate for as much time they want because they want to reach Shivatva and they don't want to take many lives. So in that life, they'll make it as intense as possible. So yeah, so sitting on the ashes is one of the kriyas for absorbing energies.
Yeah. So here, what I'd like to ask you is that, so if you see from what you say, the Aghori sadhus are completely different from what the mainstream media says. They are in this quest to become one with Lord Shiva, and
Yes.
this is their mission. So they're not frightening people,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Actually, that's a good question. I mean, if that's the question, like, are they frightening? Because you did mention that as one of your first aspects in the question. Meena, one thing we have to understand is that which we are not used to and that which is different will always move us in a different way, right?
Yeah.
So Aghoris are different. When you see a sannyasi yogi who's wearing the orange robe and he takes his bath every morning, and in the morning he's very divine. Aghoris are extremely divine, but the kriyas that they do, the place where they live, and their appearance, they don't wear anything actually. right? Um, they are also very kathor
Yeah.
in the sense they look. See, for them, they are not interested in connection with the people. They are not interested in having pravachans. They are not interested in that. They are very, very clear. They want to follow what their Aughar Baba, their guru, has told them to do. Are you getting my point, Meena?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for them, appearance doesn't matter. So we get a little jolted when we see the Aghori appearance, which is very strong and aggressive expression. Yeah, I think my video got stalled.
Yeah.
You can hear
Yeah, I
me?
just want to speak about, yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
In one instance, very amusing incident when my husband went for the Kumbh Mela. So
Okay.
our guru is Nityananda Swami. So when he was
Okay.
with
Okay.
them, apparently one of the Aghori sadhus, they were on a huge chariot, a very heavy chariot, Nityananda Swami. And he said that I will pull you, using, his private part. Okay, so he will make the chariot move. And he did that. And people were shocked. Now, while people may consider it rather, sort of vulgar or whatever, this is one of the kind of strengths that they display.
Absolutely. So there are many stories like these. There are many stories like these, true stories, where a boat has been pulled. Um, and listen, I mean, we can't go too deep into this, but because there is the aspect which about the private part. But what it shows basically is that this is just the tip of the iceberg. All right, their strength is so much, but they channelize it. Now you will come across certain aghoris who probably publicize that. If you go to Kumbh Mela, there are few, the Naga Babas are more, but primarily aghoris are very into themselves. They don't like to advertise about what they do. Sometimes, like you said, they get into that mode, and they want to just show their strength. They do that. Normally they channelize it towards their own meditation. But that strength that you spoke about, it's nothing surprising. For us it is. For them it is nothing. That's the power that they have.
Yeah, yeah. Also, what I want to know is that, see, how are Aghori sadhus different from Naga sadhus?
Yeah.
Because they look the
So I
same.
didn't get the question.
Yeah.
Yes,
See,
yes.
how are Aghori sadhus different from Naga sadhus?
So I have understood Aghori sadhus. I have not gone as deep with the Naga sadhus. I can tell you one thing, that the difference really is in some of the kriyas that they do. Some of the kriyas are similar. For example, the tapasya that they do is very similar. The exercises that they do, the physical, the hatha yoga that they do is very similar. But the kriyas that they do, for example, the Aghoris practice certain mantra sadhana. The use of the skull, for example, and what they use, the Aghoris that they use, is very different than what the Nagas practice. Aghoris are seen more practicing their kriyas where people are cremated, whereas Naga Babas don't do that. What I need to also tell you is there are commonalities as well. Apart from the appearance, both actually live in jungles and caves. One of the misconceptions is that Aghoris are found only at cremation grounds. That's not true. A lot of Aghoris live in forests and jungles, in the Himalayan forests as well. They are vagabonds in some sense, in a good way. They go wherever they want to. For them, earth is their home, right? But they will go to caves where their senior Aghoris would have practiced meditation. And the same thing is with Nagas as well. So that's what I can tell you about the
Do the
difference
Nagas
about
go into
between.
cremation grounds like the Aghori sadhus?
No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't. At least from
And
what
they
my knowledge goes, they don't.
and do they eat non-vegetarian?
No, they don't eat.
No.
See, Naga Babas are probably the more docile versions of the Aghoris in that sense. Appearance wise, they're slightly lesser fearful, but Kriyas I
Fearful
think
looking.
are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, fearful looking. And I would say another common thing I think many people don't know is Aghoris have gurus as well, because they're not really seen with the guru, they're always seen alone. But I know of an Aghori who was given a kriya to live at a cremation bhumi in Varanasi.
Hmm.
I think it was Manikarnika Ghat, somewhere that side. And the kriya was for 12 years. And after that, he was crying because that kriya got over. Okay. So this is what the Aghori. So he has got the guru. So he'll go and touch the feet of the guru. He'll have tears in his eyes. So there is this misnomer or misconception that Aghoris are very stone-faced and all. They also have emotions. I mean, come on, their emotion is towards Shiva. Yeah? Their emotion is not towards us. So of course they will be stone-faced to us because they are not concerned about us. And people want to, in their pursuit to know more. Like when I went and met the Aghori, I was very clear. As a mark of my respect and to learn more, I did not take my mobile phone, and I told them I'm not here to click pictures. And that actually I think was a good thing, because many people want to do the selfie thing, which I'm not interested. I'm not, because I know it's going to disturb them. That's not the way they are. For any guru for that matter, you just can't go and click pictures and all. They're not celebrities that way. They want to be in their own zone and they want to attain Shivatva. Har Har Mahadev, Alak Niranjan. That's what they want to do.
So how did they win your confidence?
Well, to be frank, I had to use a contact. And I had to use, because as a corporate trainer, you come across a lot of participants from different parts of the country. So, and I do a lot of these graduate trainee engineer GET programs. Okay, yeah. So in one of the GET programs, I came across some people who are from that side of the country, Varanasi, Haridwar, and so I put in the word. I said I want to meet somebody, and I know that these guys living there would, if they're young, their uncles or aunts or somebody would know some connection here. So one thing led to the other, and I got an opportunity to meet only because of the connection. Otherwise, now I have got an opportunity to go to Girnar forest to meet an Aghori, and I'm going there hopefully during Shivratri. He lives in a jungle, in a cave. Now I can only go because this friend of mine who saw my podcast is very keen, but he cannot go. He has to contact somebody else. But if my intention is very pure, I will get to meet. So Meena, it all begins with your intention. If the intention is positive, if you have the honesty to surrender yourself. Now, when he saw that there was nothing, I was just there in my Angavastra, and I could not even touch his feet. It was so powerful. You will not believe the way they look in real is powerful, and to some it is scary. But if you are genuine, they go according to the flow. Yeah. If you try to probe too much when they've told you not to, they will probably come and give you one if they want to. They're very clear. They're not going to be diplomatic and all. Yes, Girnar is in Gujarat. Yes, I'm just seeing some comments. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, I just want to tell you a little bit about my own experience. With Lord
Sure.
Shiva. I'm not talking about the Aghoris. See, earlier I was not. I was more of a Krishna bhakt than Shiva bhakt. So
Okay.
when I came to India, I was in Dubai. So my husband said he wants to meet Swami Nityananda, who is
Okay.
Shiva. So I said, okay, let's go, and we met him. It is after that I started understanding that Lord Shiva is very easy to please. Okay, and the kind of when you go into meditation here, with the Nityananda Swami, it's Kundalini awakening.
Right.
Yeah. So once you get unlocked, the Kundalini gets unlocked, then you start experiencing certain powers, which I started feeling.
True.
So that's how I completely changed. Now here, when you talk about these Aghori sadhus, they are developing these powers. These powers come from within. What do they develop these powers for? Could you tell me that? Because that's a question that all the viewers are asking. What do these powers go towards?
Okay. For them, the awakening of powers is with one clear objective, and that is to to either get to see or feel the energy of Mahadev. So for them, the root is practicing the kriyas which will give them or make them more and more intense in their meditation. The more they meditate by practicing these kriyas, the faster and with a higher velocity, if I can put it that way, Meena, they feel it will get them to actually see Lord Shiva. Okay, so whatever they do, it is to please Shiva from their point of view. So when they do tapa, when they meditate for days, they'll not eat, drink for some days because that is part of their kriya or their tapasya. It's all for them to reach a point where they're completely lost in the super consciousness, and so that's their main aim, is what I got to understand. Their route is different. For me, Bhakti Yoga could be my route. For somebody, Hatha Yoga could be a route. For somebody else, Pranayama could be a route. For them, it's a combination of many things. And some of the kriyas, we don't even know. It's so deep. But the ultimate aim is the same that we have. We may take lives to reach, they want to do it in the same life. Therefore, they do this with so much of intensity. When they sit on the pyre for 8 hours straight in the night, okay, what are they doing it for? Because in that, when they practice with the energies around, they reach, they're taken to a point where they feel they can connect with the Mahadev. And who is Mahadev for me? He's a yogi beyond earth. He can manifest in whatever form he wants to. He's not even a he, he's not even a she. He's not even human for me personally. He's different. But so the level of yoga that Mahadev represents is what the Aghoris want to reach. Are you getting my point? It's like somebody joining martial arts.
Yes.
Martial arts, okay, so he joins with a white belt. And there is somebody with a black belt. The black belt one sees somebody with 10 dans. So they are all evolving. They are probably using all these techniques and kriyas to evolve faster.
Okay.
Ultimately, sabka destination wahi hai.
One. Yeah. So when you say the Aghoris are the left hand of God and we are the right hand of God.
Yes,
So
yes.
is it because we are much behind in the stage of reaching, what you call moksha, and they are much ahead?
I would have to reluctantly say yes.
So they are the
because Meena, intellectually we could be similar. Like we also yearn.
Yeah.
But intellectually kuch hota nahi hai. We have to practice. Can I sit for 8 hours? I'm not even talking about going to a cremation ground or to a jungle or a cave. In my room, surrounded by lovely pictures of Mahadev, can I sit for 8 hours? I mean, that's where the answer is. So do I really have that within me to really do? No, it will take some lives, I guess. But there are people who say, that's not the only route, there are other routes. So I don't argue, I just say, live and let live. They're doing what they're doing, we are doing what we're doing, and let's see what happens at the end.
So tell me about these Siddhis. There are 8 Siddhis as we know. And do these Aghoris get these Siddhis very fast? What can you explain a little bit about that?
So whatever I know, see, the Aghoris I spoke to, they were very reluctant to talk about the Siddhis that they have acquired.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons which I came to know later is that if you talk about it, the power goes down. It's almost like you're letting it go. So they are very, very stubborn about not sharing. What I understood is more than the acquisition or getting the Siddhis, which they're not interested in. Siddhis are powers, right? It's like a Siddhi for you to read somebody's mind. Siddhi could be more advanced where, you could actually manifest something straight away. And there are people who do that. If you're using that to influence people in the right way, fair enough. So in the Aghoris, Meena, what I understood is they practice whatever they do to awaken the chakras. Okay. And so from the Vishuddhi chakra, okay, from the Mooladhara chakra to the Sahasrara chakra, their main intent is to keep opening them and maintaining it here.
Yes.
Because again, their aim is that. The aim is not to have the Siddhis. Siddhi is a power, and power corrupts. anywhere. So that's why I know of stories and real stories where a guru has told his shishya, stop that. Don't please show your siddhis, because that is the beginning of your fall. Because then the ego comes in. Oh wow, you can do this. So therefore these Aghoris, and probably told by the guru, they never reveal their siddhis. But yes, their chakra awakening is constantly happening. That's for sure.
So, another question, Mayur, that normally people ask is, many of us, see, we go through different phases in our life. It's
Sure.
like sorrow, happiness, being very, jumpy, fidgety, things like that. Do these Aghori sadhus also go through the same emotions, or they are cut out from all this?
So let me begin by saying, reminding you of what you said in your first question. Sometimes they'll be angry. Sometimes, so one word I have articulated for them in a positive way is they're very whimsical.
Yeah.
Okay, they're very whimsical. I could say I'm a little wacky, but they're very whimsical, which means very, very unpredictable. I will not even use the word they're moody, because they're beyond moods. They're not that way, but they're whimsical in the sense, if they feel that somebody is trying to really extract something positive, they'll be all out. They'll be happy. But even that exaltation, like Har Har Mahadev, and they're very loud, because they are not interested in conforming to niceties and all. Are you getting my point? They're like, I get a damn. I mean, I want to do my sadhana. You want to come, then deal with my attitude. But do they harm? Do they hurt people? Not at all. Not at all. This is what the mainstream sometimes show, and that's what gets consumed, because people see this and oh, wow, great. There's so much. The backstory is so much. The backstory.
In fact,
Yeah. Sorry.
This is the image that we see in Bollywood of a tantra.
Exactly. And imagine how people across the world would then unfortunately associate this, which is so sad. I mean, and pura wohi hota hai. I'll tell you one more thing, which I mentioned in the podcast with Beer Biceps as well, that an alien is represented typically how, Meena?
With an oblong face.
I mean, because E.T., if you remember the movie E.T. When we were kids, that is how we have consumed. So हमारे लिए alien मतलब वो there could be an alien that is formless.
Yeah.
There could be an alien who could be the Maha Aghori, and these people travel. These Maha Aghoris travel beyond Earth.
Yeah.
They don't need to have the body. You know that, right? There's something called astral projection. So they travel astrally as well. Of course they do. You know what? It's like this. You're given a territory. You're a yogi, you're given a territory. You go to Earth and you set up your center there. So these yogis, all these real genuine swamis, they're all these people given by the super consciousness, go to Earth. That way, there are some who are given not Earth, they're given a solar system. I know I'm sounding wacky, but I look at it that way, because we are not the only people on Earth who have intelligence. There are far more highly intelligent, evolved people. There could be entities down as well.
Yeah.
But we can't be the only people in this, million, zillion filled solar systems here. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, I look at Shiva as that entity, which is of a different form. Again, Shiva, we have created that because we love to associate, right? But he or that form comes to Earth, finds solace and spiritual vibrancy at Kailash, right? Because that's his, you go home, you feel good, right? At the home is home. Home is where the heart is. So when he comes to this territory called Earth, that's how I look at it. For him, his home is Kailash. And there could be these cabins where he sits in his different. So we can't even go to Kailash, right? We can't even touch it. So it's so amazing, this aspect, this possibility. Aghoris want to unlock that. They also want to travel. They also want to go somewhere, and they're getting there. Oh, you have no clue. There's so much they do. They if only they wanted to open up to me more, but they didn't. Maybe they want me to do more tapasya, and then they say, okay, I'll now tell you more. Because kya hota Meena, sometimes if they tell me or anybody, am I ready to even digest it? So there is, I'll tell you one thing, Meena, because you're talking about Aghoris. This is real. One of my friends went, and the one who's introducing me to the Aghori, he lives in Junagadh. So he was telling me, and he's an HR person now. So he was working in a factory very close to the forest.
Yeah.
And there's a village. So this guy, who I'm talking about, the HR guy, is very interested in Aghoris and all. So that's how we got connected. He met an Aghori with a friend. And again, through a contact, that village guy who was a worker in the factory. Okay. Yeah. So this guy, worker person, took both of them, because these are HR people. So the worker is like, okay, sir, I'll take you. They went deep into the forest. They met the Aghori. And this is true. This guy is telling me, this happened just a month back, he was telling me. He had, they put the fire, no? Agni, wo rehta hai unka. Agni kund mein. The moment they sat, the Aghori, of course, this is what he said. He said the Aghori looked at both of us. He looked at my friend. He said, I know what you have come for. Don't worry, your sister's marriage will happen. And he looks at my friend, that HR friend. You have not come with anything. You have just come to meet me. No worries. So this guy asked him, sir, show whatever he addressed as Babaji, show something. Now what can you do? So he says, हम क्या करें? हम तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. Hindi is okay, na Meena, in this? Hindi is okay.
Yeah, fine.
Like, I'm trying to say how my friend was telling me that कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. आप एक लाश लेके आओ, हम उनको 5 मिनट के लिए जागरूक कर सकते हैं. लेकिन आप वो झेल पाएंगे? Can you endure that? Okay, so you know what he said? He said, मैं तो कर सकता हूं, आप हिल जाओगे, मर जाओगे. नहीं तो ऐसे भी होगा, मैं अगर जागरूक किया, मैं भी मर सकता हूं. So there's a lot of depth in this. So they can literally use mantras.
We just translate that for our viewers who speak in English. Same thing. Yeah. So what the Aghori said is that, see, I can bring a dead man alive, but would you be able to stand it? And and if I do bring him alive, even perhaps I may die in the process.
Yeah.
So that's what he said. Yes.
Yes. So that is. Like, I'm getting goosebumps, because that is what my friend told me. They were completely shit scared, Meena. They just took the blessings, because these people can do, but they don't. So he was just telling them, don't just ask for the sake of it. If you want, I can do that, but I'm not going to do it. Yeah. So they've reached that level, Meena, where at a physical level, they can do, like you said, pull a chariot and all. Yeah. But internally, they're only focused on Shiva consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a question from one of the viewers is that Justin Singh, do we really have to disconnect from everything and practice like them to ultimately unite with God?
No, to Jasna, if I'm saying that correctly, it depends on which path you take, right? So like I said, I'm following the Bhakti Marga. I have a guru, I practice my mantra japa, I love chanting prayers, stotrams. I love listening to the pravachans. I practice and implement a few things as much as I can. That's my path. Yes, if not you personally, if anybody wants to go the Aghori route, then that is, yes, you have to leave everything, because you have to follow kriyas which will take years for you to put your mind and heart into. So, and I believe you can't choose these things, Meena. It happens, right? I have a lot of friends who say, can I also have a guru, Mayur, like you? I said, I'll pray for you. But you can't want to have a guru and say, hey, he's a guru. You can't. It has to happen. It has to happen. And it happens. If you yearn for it, it happens. So my specific answer is that to be an Aghori, you can't, it's not a manufactured desire that I want to be. If it happens, then you will not even feel the tapasya that you do is very tough. We find that, oh my God, he practices Aghori, sits in the cremation ground. For him, it is nothing, because he's not scared of the dark. He loves the dark, because in the darkness, it's the absence of the light. He feels something. He feels an energy, maybe. So that's my answer to Jasna.
Yeah. Our next question is, when you talk about yantra, mantra and tantra, can you tell us the differences between these, and what do the Aghori sadhus use?
How much ever I know, mantra is that which we chant. Typically, it has a bijakshara. A bijakshara is put in, and then that creates the energy. Tantra is is the occult way of practicing certain kriyas. The occult, the tantra. Yantra is what I know. I keep saying what I know because this is what I know, Baba.
Yeah.
Is the usage of certain things, like for example they use ash, the items that they use. When we do puja, right, we use certain things.
Yeah.
So they use certain tantras. For example, the tools. So they have a trishul which represents power. They wear the chain of even skulls or bones, because they use that as part of their kriya. But they chant as well. Oh, they do certain hand kriyas as well. They do certain things which, of course, I'm not into that, but I'm just saying they do stuff. And in one of your images, I think you showed that as well. They're sitting and. Yes. I think this one. So this is a very powerful. So they'll wear the rudraksh. They'll even wear, like I said, bones. It depends on what they're doing at that point of time. But that is the tantra. And the yantras. Now there is something which is very powerful. Now they don't use it, but as an example is Shri Yantra, for example. So that is again a very powerful energy, right? And in that there are people who are told don't play with the Shri Yantra. It's got a lot of power. So this is my response to your question. So they do chant the mantras. They do use tools, and certain kriyas are tantric. Yeah, the techniques. But they are, again, this tantric and tantra is misunderstood, and it's completely twisted all the time into black magic.
Yes.
Yeah, by the West, and unfortunately some of the people here also, they think everything tantra is black magic. It isn't. Yeah. It is white magic. Firstly, it is not even magic. I mean, that's the unfortunate part. They're using magic. Come on. I mean, they're not David Copperfields here, which is all a trick. That's a trick show, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But you can't equate trick shows to Aghoris here, or to any enlightened being who practices all these sadhanas. So that's my response to your question.
Yeah.
And by the way, we practice our own mantras. By the way, I'm sure you know that. Yeah. We do our own mantras, but we don't get into the other aspects. Yeah. Sorry.
So Ned is asking you, in what way Siddhi is different from Shakti?
So, okay, I like this question a lot. I saw, Ned, your question, and I was waiting for Meena to ask. Siddhis are powers, and Shakti, powers that you can display. Shakti has got, again, how I perceive and I've been taught is, Shakti is the strength which is seen in the form of Durga or Kali. It's a feminine strength. That's how I perceive it. Siddhis are the sort of superficial, from a yogic point of view, powers that they get, which they can utilize if they want to. So it's more superficial, the Siddhis. That's the perception, right? That's why they don't show these Siddhis. But in inner power that is there, the more intrinsic power is the Shakti. The manifested Shakti could be the Siddhis. That's how I look at it. So Shakti is more the core energy, the core power.
So moving to back to again the tantric techniques. I've heard you say that they use seashells and also what you call powder, rangoli powder, to do their. But many people think that they also use black magic, and that's why people are scared of them.
Okay, so can I respond?
Yeah, please.
Great. When something is used by them to attain their own, when I say siddhis in the right way, to reach Shivatva, the same powers can also be misused. And when that is misused, it becomes black magic. So if you ask me, is black magic used? Yes, but it's not used only by Aghoris. You go to the southern part of India or even anywhere, you go to Bengal, you will find somebody who will be using it. Everywhere. Are why there, Meena? It's there everywhere on earth. You go to Africa, the zombies, voodooism, exactly. So my very clear understanding is that, and I keep coming to the same point, Meena, that they will always be looking at their own growth For them, their sadhana is most important through the Shakti, the Siddhis that they acquire, which they again channelize for their growth. But there could be, because corruption happens everywhere, there could be some, with those powers, they can do other things as well. Have you heard of this thing called Vashikaran?
Yes.
Okay, Vashikaran, I can just say that in English. Vashikaran is trying to hypnotize or trying to bewitch and control somebody else. They can if they want to. But why are we only putting the name Aghori in that? I know of a person who used to rob people by Vashikaran because he had developed some technique. So he's misusing it. The misuse of anything positive into negative is black. And the use of it is white. That's how I put it.
Okay. An interesting question from Maya. Would an Aghori's karma burn up so that he escapes the birth-death cycle? Is death just a ride to another sphere for the Aghori?
Wow. Maya, I think you have articulated the question in such a beautiful way that there is an answer to that. It's a huge compliment to you with the way you've articulated this. Personally, I look at death as a way to transit into another realm, about which I'll come to know only when I do more sadhana. And therefore my answer to Maya's question is, of course, they want to burn their past life samskaras. They want to, get into the other realm where there is nothing that they carry forward. It's like they want to get back and become the electricity and not become the light. They want to go to the source of it, because we are the particles. There's a bulb, but even behind the bulb there is the electricity. So they are going back to the electricity, and the more they burn their past life samskaras, the less they will have to become particles again, right? If you know what I'm speaking in a metaphoric way. So, and we have a longer journey. So yes, they look at death as a way, but they don't yearn for death. Okay, I also want to make this clear. They are not like, I want to die so that I can transit. But whenever that happens, it is a way of getting into the other realm. But while they're on this earth, in this role, they want to use their body and the training that they get from their teacher to, as much as possible, make the best of it.
Yeah.
And isn't that what our gurus also tell us, isn't it? Like, do your japa, do this, because this is your opportunity. You've been born, you have this, you've been born blessed to have samskaras from your past life where you're more inclined to spirituality. Make the most of it. So they are at another level, but with a similar desire.
Yeah. Another question from Shilpa is that, so what kind of flesh do they consume? And is it not cooked?
Oh my God. Okay, you want a straight answer to that? I think honesty is the best policy. They eat, let me make it very clear. They consume, they don't eat. They consume only as part of a kriya. They only consume a little bit, but what is shown is only that all the time, so people think they eat that all the time. They don't. There is a particular time of the night. There's something called a Brahma Muhurta, or they also eat at a particular time that they've been told. They also don't keep eating. Okay, so they will, and about the cook, see what they do is when the fire is burning, the body is burning, there are some parts they'll go and pull out. I think that should be enough for the viewer to understand whether it's cooked or not. I can't even go so deep, to be honest, but I think they'll understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. There's another question from Vishali. Another one, just a second. Why are they only male Aghoris? Why not female ones?
So Vishali, nice name. Vishali, there are female Aghoris, by the way. Just so that you know. Only thing that there are very few female Aghoris. I have seen an initiation of a woman towards becoming an Aghori. I also believe there was another question, I think, about if somebody wants to be an Aghori, who should he approach or something like that. I read that. So I'm just absorbing that question and responding. These things happen if you're born with the very innate, internal, intrinsic desire to be that. Yeah. And therefore, there are many paths, right? Even in yoga, right? In sannyasa. So you can become a yogi and just go and follow a guru who will teach you the yogic aspects. It may not be anything to do with Aghori. Then there are Naga Naga Babas. They have their own way. So there are different schools of sannyasa, and therefore, if you are born with this inner urge of vairagya is completely sorry.
Anger, is it?
No. Vairagya is the desire to let go away from the material aspects of life.
Okay.
We say vairagi.
Detachment.
Detachment, complete detachment. So if you're born with that, then you don't feel anything where you say should I or not. You just want to. And if it is in your prarabdha, in your past, what have you done, that you are going to be part of the Aghori sect, then you will. I personally believe that a lot of people who become Aghoris are or were connected to that before this life. That's why when they come in, things happen by which they enter the Aghori sect and they become that, or they become a Naga Baba, or they just become a yogi. I know of some people who just were not happy with the life they were leading from as a kid, and they go to the Himalayas in search of something that they don't know exactly, but they come across somebody because of their inner desire, and they become a shishya of that person, and the guru says, I was waiting for you.
Yeah.
So that's also what happens.
In the case of our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, he did go to the Himalayas, but they told him it is not time. You have some certain duties to fulfill.
Well, keeping all the politics aside, isn't for me, I'm so proud of my Prime Minister. Like I said, keep the politics aside.
Absolutely.
That's not for today. But he's my Prime Minister, and when he speaks, I get teary-eyed.
Yeah.
Because there is so much sincerity in what he says. Maybe some things don't happen, some things happen, but he's leading such a huge democracy. But why is it that I feel this, or many of my friends, they get touched? I mean, they may criticize him and all, but one thing they say is, he's sincere. He works hard, no doubt. Because that yogi aspect is there in him. And today what is happening? I mean, there is Yogi Adityanath who's ruling. So, but these are wonderful food for thought for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he goes to Himalayas and he's told by the Guru, not now, come later.
No, exactly.
But he's got vairagya. He's just doing this because that is his prarabdha. That is what he's supposed to do. And that's why he's very happy. He's never tensed up because he knows this is what he has to do. Later he'll leave.
Okay, interesting question from Katirvela Arogya Swami. Have you come across anyone in the H who is
Himalayas?
Himalayas, yeah, who has attained Ashta Mahasiddhi in the Himalayas or been to heavenly planets?
For that, you must read my book, Aghori, An Untold Story, because
Absolutely.
some revelations are there. I can only say to the person who's asked me the question that not everything that I'm sharing with you is from this life. Not everything that I share with you is going to be what I have experienced in this life. But I cannot say more than this because it will sound really wacky for you. But I can say that there are some things you bring along. Why? The question is why this longing as a child to want to interact with the sadhus? Why this longing for me that took me to Kailash Mansarovar? So the answer is yes, I have. But I cannot reveal more than that in this particular podcast.
Yeah.
But there are people, yes, there are many. In the book, it's mentioned.
This is a question that many people ask. Can you talk about Aghori's worship of Kala Bhairava or Veerabhadra Swami?
So there are different Aghori sects following different, what should I call, different gurus.
Yeah.
So Kala Bhairav is again what I think I understand is the manifestation of Shiva only. Kala Bhairav. Okay, it's another form of Shiva. Like Dakshinamurti is another form. So they follow that because that Kala Bhairav represents the aggression. He's like this Maha Aghori who these Aghoris follow or they want to learn from. I also believe that Aghoris are connected to the Nath Sampradaya, for example.
Yes.
They say even Lord Dattaguru was an Aghori, and so Aghoris also follow the Nath Sampradaya. So there are different Sampradayas. You know that there is a temple in Guwahati, which is a Kali temple, and it is very well known for tantric. So a lot of Aghoris go there and they seek blessings of the goddess there, who is supposed to be the epitome of tantric science. So my answer is yes, they do. just like Kala Bhairava or Veerbhadra, there are other entities that they also follow. But what I know is these are three, especially I know about the Nath Sampradaya, from which a lot of Aghoris seek their learnings and motivation.
Yeah. So one thing I'd like to tell the viewers as you listen to Mayur is that, see, most of you have come certainly mid-path towards spirituality. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking such questions, you know. And your questions are so, provocative, and also very important is that Mayur has the capacity to answer them. So you can imagine, how much he studied all this. So Mayur, another
Meena, not everything in this life. Not everything in this life. Some things we because your viewers are also very sort of on the same path of spirituality. They'll understand what I'm saying. Can I just show this, because I wanted our viewers to see.
Please, yeah.
This is the my own. This is my encapsulation of the book Untold Story. Yeah. So that's me here. I don't know if I'm pointing it correctly.
Blue image.
That's me.
Blue image.
Yeah, and this is as you can see. Okay, this is the Shivalinga. Okay, it's a metaphor for Shiva energy, and if you see here, this person. So these are. It's a human. It's a as you can see, and they're in movement. They're in movement because they're performing certain kriyas. So even if you see here. So these people are, for me, the yogis. I've put it in a way where it's not portrait driven. It's more of my own, imagination.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to show. There's some, because I feel that sometimes paintings can also communicate a lot.
Absolutely.
This is another one. These are what I've created, by the way, with spray paint.
Perhaps you can say,
mixed media.
As you speak about this, Mayur,
you
can say how your creativity sort of doubled after your visit to Mount Kailash.
Absolutely. One thing that happened was this got tweaked completely. And especially, Meena, when you go to such places with your guru, understand, because you have a guru as well, so you can relate, and that too in the personal seva of the guru. Can you understand? I mean, we went with 89 people. Me and another friend of mine, we were chosen because we are youngsters here. I was 28, and today, as I speak with you, I'm like 48. So long time back. I mean, 20 years now. 20 years. My God. And I'm still the same, because that's what Kailash does. In one of the podcasts, somebody said, Mayur, I heard somebody went there and they age very quickly when you go to Kailash. And I'm like, really? Because right here I am here. And I'm anti-aging. I mean, not in a way to be arrogant. I'm just saying that I don't think people age. But yes, spiritual maturity just quadruples.
Yeah. Here perhaps you could mention the fact which I found very interesting when you said that you come from Mumbai, and where you have all this dust and pollution and this fast life, you're getting into a rickshaw, getting into a bus, a metro, and then you suddenly went into, peace, where you went to Mount Kailash, and that transformed you completely.
Yes. What happens is, like I say this to a lot of my friends, that don't go to Bangkok, America and all, that's okay. Go to Himalayas, go to Kailash. It's better than all those places here. And okay, so what happened is, Meena, suppose if I take you and your family, okay, to the ocean, all right? Which imagine an ocean in your mind, your hubby and your family, like, okay, standing, and I say, what do you see in front of yourself? And you'll be like, what are you asking me? Of course, what do I see? It's a huge ocean. And then and it's huge, okay, like you almost get irritated, like, why are you asking me this kind of a question? And then if I tell you that, hey, it's not an ocean, it's a lake. And you'll be like, wait a second, what? That's what happened to me when I first, I would see huge lakes when we were driving in the Pajeros from Nepal. And it was beautiful. We were driving towards Kailash, towards Manasarovar first, and then Kailash. Okay, it was the parikrama of Manasarovar first and Kailash. The Manasarovar, so I would see a huge lake, and I say, oh, we've come to Manasarovar, huge lake. And the driver, because he's used, he's like, no lake, no Manasarovar. He's a Chinese driver.
Yeah.
No. It happened like 7 times, yeah. Like every time I would see a big lake, because I never could imagine. And then, but when I saw Manasarovar, it must have been from like 20, 30 kilometers away. Yeah. And I said, this has to be, because it was unending. And these things hit you, Meena.
Yeah.
They hit you here. And if you're already doing some sort of japa, it hits you more. So you asked me about creativity.
Yeah.
I think for me, Meena, when I do workshops on creativity, I always say that you create first in your mind.
Yeah.
You ideate in your mind. You start stretching your imagination. And I can tell you that all this writing, painting, I play djembe, all this is only because at that point, while I was sitting on Manasarovar, I was so like I was in a zombie state, man. I was like, what is this? From the BST bus, train, side mein chal, kya, what, get up. In 3 days I'm there. I mean, to say I was shocked will be an understatement, right? But it affects you. And if you're doing, because I was already inclined, so I just absorbed that. I remember while I was there, my guru chanted a lovely shloka, and then I learned it later because I love chanting stotras. So I remember this chanting, which was, and imagine this is like on the banks of Manasarovar, surrounded by the Himalayas, and there. So it's not just the visual; it's the chanting. It's a combination of everything. Om Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakhalu Kushala Spanditumapi Atastwamaradhyam Harihara Virincha Dibhirapi Pranautum Stotum Va Kathamakrita Punya Prabhavati. You're there, the skies are like different colored, and you're like, I said in the podcast, I'm telling you here for the viewers, you go to Kailash, you will not feel you're on earth except for gravity. And if you feel that at your core, imagine what changes will happen. And then I heard my guru say this, okay, literally in the morning, because I was in the tents making bath water, seva, personal seva. Om Nakaramana Prashayadhane Natyage Naike Amrtatvamanasho Parena Nakam Nihitam Guhaya Vibhrajadeta Detayo Vishanti Vedanta Vidyana Sunishchitartha Sanyasa Yoga Detayat Shuddha Sattva Aha Te Brahma Loke Tupara Antakale Paramrutartha Parimuchanti Sarve Dharam Vipapam Parame Eshma Bhutam Yat Pundarikam Puramadya Sagastam Tatrapi Dharam Gadanam Vishokastasmin Yadantas Tadupasutavyam Yo Vedadav Swara Prokto Vedante Cha Pratishtitah Tasya Prakritileenasya Yah Parassa Maheshwara Om Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva. How can life not change, Meena? Tell me. You're in the land of the gods. You're there with the Shiva. People say when I recite, they feel it's not me glorifying. I'm not doing anything. In fact, it's just made me more humble.
Yeah.
You know, I was having an Insta live at around 6. I just got into Instagram live. There were like 35, 40 youngsters. Yeah. Sir, please chant this, no. Please chant that, no. I said, thank you so much. I will chant. Youngsters. Sir, I want to learn the Ravana Stotra. Please, can you teach? Can you chant now? I said, of course I'll chant for you.
India is changing.
Because, thank God, I'm so happy. I mean, I love my Coldplay. I love listening to English songs. Nothing wrong. I mean, they're all beautiful. Anything that is melodious and touching your soul is great. But yes, coming to the point is, if you go to these places like Kailash, Manasarovar, you feel energy there. And if you're already spiritually inclined, you absorb it more. My guru had said to me while I was there, how is your japa going? And I'm like, yeah. He said, don't stop. Do it. Even if you can't do much, do a little bit. You will see its results when you go back to Mumbai. And I could see the results. I'm still seeing the results. Yeah. Sorry for my lengthy answer, but I'm just getting a little more excited here.
No, it's perfect. Yeah. Maya asked you another question. 3M, born Muslim Mumtaz Ali, went to the Himalayas in search of his guru, Maheshwar Nath, a disciple of Babaji, and he recounts strange experiences of golden Nagas coming in golden vehicles. You did mention the Nagas.
Yes, earlier. Yes. I've also spoken to my guru about it, and yes, 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 yes. Isn't it something that we were talking about, the beyond,
Yeah.
the alien entities?
Yes.
This is probably the answer. It's the extension. You know why I'm delaying here? Because I'm seeing those comments. I'm like excited to even respond to them. So pardon my
And your books
intermittent
are also-
pauses. I'm like,
And your books are also selling fast.
really, I don't know if that happens. Good, because people will.
Vishali
Yeah.
just bought it through Kindle, planning to read it today.
Yeah, and by the way, the book is available as a hard copy on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
So for people, it's available in 47 countries. So enjoy the actual feel of the book. That'll be nice. But coming to the point is, yes, there is an instance where Babaji, as in the book he's written, Apprentice to the Himalayan Master. He sits, Sri M is sitting there in the cave, and his Babaji is sitting outside, and there's this thing. Now, it doesn't come in a golden vehicle, or like an orb,
Yeah.
egg-shaped orb. And it opens up, and there's this almost like a 3-foot or 2.5-foot serpent. And I mentioned this in the other podcast also, that these are not the cobras we see. Okay, these they are there here. They manifest themselves in the form of 3.5-foot nagas. That's why, Meena, if you go to the south especially, you will find naga katta, the stones with nagas. And if you look at those nagas, they're different from the actual cobras you see.
Yeah.
And these are advanced alien, when I say advanced, spiritually advanced aliens who manifest themselves in the form of nagas. And there are nagas in the form that what should I say, they exist in other realms.
Yeah.
And in that, yes, there is that particular incident where there's a big lightning thunder, and that orb comes, and that entity speaks to the Babaji in that. So, and I believe that, of course. What we don't know is not necessarily that we don't believe. There's so much that we need to explore.
Yeah. I was doing a painting of Babaji, and someone came to me and told me that he doesn't like to be painted. So I said, why? No, that's what they say. I don't know about what, I don't know whether that's true or not. But that painting still is not finished by me. And because the moment I start painting, I'm in a sort of a complex mood, whether I'm getting the features right, I'm still, because whenever I paint Shiva, Lord Shiva keeps changing with each painting. In one, he looks very young. In one, he looks very, mature. So I'm a little worried about Baba.
Can I, Meena, for your viewers, can I tell you something very stunning that happened yesterday? You'll be shocked.
Yeah.
I'm making a revelation here.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked. I'm still in shock. I'll tell you how things happen. I will not put names because that person will be watching probably.
Yeah.
That person watched my podcast, and that person said there is something about your eyes that, and again, please don't misunderstand all of you. I'm not talking about me. It's just that I'm telling you what happened. Okay, so please. So I met the person yesterday, and I gifted her some of my paintings because that person is a Shiva Bhakt. So and then while leaving, that person gave me a small little box. I said, what is this? She said, okay. He or she said, open it. And when I opened it, it was a Gauri Shankar Rudraksh.
Okay.
A Gauri Shankar, there's, Rudrakshas are Ekmukhi, two Mukhi, 3 Mukhi. This is Gauri Shankar.
Ah.
And I was like, why? And it was, the person just says, you take it. I felt that there is something, and I want to. So these things happen where, and by the way, I asked who. She said it's been given. Okay, it's a she. So it's been given by somebody. I can't tell you. And that somebody is an ancient sage who physically gave it to her, who's formless, who's beyond years. And I'm still in shock because I have it with me, but I can't wear it till I get it blessed or seen by my guru as well. I just can't.
Yeah.
So I've just kept it. But how things happen. There's a person who saw a podcast and she wanted to understand about Aghoris, and she was so happy that she never knew this side of the Aghoris. So a lot of good things, people get influenced by through I think some things that we learn or we study. Yeah.
Mayur, see, in this book, you speak about the protagonist, Subbu. Now,
Yeah.
is this protagonist actually you?
Don't ask. Don't ask me what. There's a thing. Don't ask me questions. I won't tell you lies,
Why,
because I
why
can tell you.
wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have just written it as a piece of your?
No, it isn't. It
recollection?
isn't, because this is not this is not me. It is Subbu. It cannot be me. It's not me, because there's a lot more that will come. So it's not me. My answer is very ambiguous, but purposefully so. See, there are some things. If you read, or when you read the book, or people who read the book, they'll feel it is me, because there are things which come out that way. Okay, but not necessarily everything has happened here in this life, which is why I'm saying it's not me. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So there are some things which have happened before, but I can't explain that further. I mean, not that I don't want to. I just can't articulate that, But I enjoy remembering those experiences, and like you said, the main idea is to share that who are these Aghori sadhus. Yeah? Of course, you might get scared. Their disposition is scary, but go beyond their appearance. There's so much inside. Their urge, their desire to merge with Shiva is so amazing. I mean, we can learn something from them. Fearlessness. Sitting in the dark at 3:30 in the morning. Suppose somebody wants to get up at a Brahma Muhurta. How many of us will go and sit on the building terrace? Nobody. We'll be like, it's dark. But there's so much to get inspired by. Yeah, that's my, a little elongated, extended answer to your question.
No, another very important thing I'd like to ask you is that, see, many of us came into YouTube because it was after Sushant Singh died. And as you know, Sushant Singh was a Shiva Bhakt. And he used to get up very early and pray. And he was also interested in a lot of other things like astronomy. Now, I feel, now you can tell me your take on it. I feel that Sushant Singh is using his powers after leaving Earth to get people like us together to fight for his justice. And in the process, cleaning the complete system that is happening in not only Mumbai, but many other cities in India. So he has addressed an issue which was buried, where people used to think that these Bollywood icons, were their heroes. Now it has been stripped bare, and he has clearly, through his diary also, he's given us exactly who are the people involved, and he's told us that we need to be his voices. So all this is happening. So your take.
My take, well, I can say one thing, that how much ever I've seen Sushant as an actor, as a human being, one thing I knew is that he was a very a nice human being, very gullible, very sincere, almost like a misfit in an industry like that. There are lovely people in every industry, and there are bad people in every industry, and I'm not even being diplomatic here. I'm being very honest. There are, no. But I think what I felt is that more than just being a nice person, he was like some of us who believed that, I didn't know he was a Shiva Bhakt, because I don't follow too much of this, okay, to be honest. But definitely was spiritual. You know why? Because he used to meditate, that I know. Plus, he had bought or purchased, I think, the world's second most expensive telescope.
Telescope, yes.
Do you know that? And why? Because he used to believe that there is something beyond.
Yes.
And unfortunate, whatever happened, hopefully things will move towards he getting the justice. Yes. But if you ask me, is he sort of there? Well, I believe in paranormal as well. I believe in these aspects, and I'm not scared of it, because it's another science. As long as we don't mess with it, they won't mess with us. So they live in a different realm. So I do think that there is this this aspect of his spirit, which probably is in some way mentally influencing us, because you know that, right? Paranormal always influence people at a mental level. Physically they can't harm us, normally they can't, unless they feed on fear, they don't. But you will never, you can't see, because they can't manifest like that how we see in those Hindi movies. So I think Sushant's spirit definitely, if it is still there, as you say, could be or is, I do feel that it is helping us or some of us mentally to go in that direction. You know that it works, no? We get guided by certain energies, huh? You know that, right? There are some people, astrologers, who will, they use these seashells and they put it on the table and they'll do move like that, and they say, okay.
In Kerala it's done very often.
Yeah, even in Karnataka it's done.
It's supposed to be what you call it, prashna, asking questions.
Prashna, correct. And they have that, I don't know what it's called, the seashells, you know, and they put that, some sort of seashells, not the typical ones, but anyway, so they can even visualize, right? And they can influence people. So I do believe that Sushant, as long as he gets justice, because it's so confusing, I don't get too much into it, because let law take its course. But if he's influencing people towards thinking and guiding them towards asking the right questions, which is what you're alluding to, I think I can believe that as well. Because some of these souls, they will not rest in peace unless and until they get the justice. And I think these souls feel energies from us as well, because there's so much of a support system for Sushant. I'm sure it'll happen. Sometimes law here will take time, but it will happen. He'll get justice.
Okay. One last question before we end the session. Also,
Sure.
viewers, Mayur has promised that he'll come for more sessions on his other books and his experience as well. So
Yes.
this is not the last show with him.
Yeah, this is the book. By the way, if people have not
please,
seen,
please,
this is the book. Yeah, I won't plug it in too much, but this is the book, and this is the face of the Aghori.
Because you've given us
Yeah.
so much information, people are curious to read it.
Actually, if you see, the reason I'm showing this is, if you see the face,
Yeah.
it's a smiling face. It's a very calming face, and the whole idea of showing this or bring this picture is, this is the real Aghori. Although they look, but internally this is how they are. Very, very, affectionate. If they really know that the person who's coming to them is genuine, they will show their real self. Yep.
Question from Dishani. Have you become guru in this life, Mayur? Did you initiate anyone?
No, not at all. So Vishali, I'm a sadhaka for hopefully for this life only. Hopefully next life I'll become a sadhaka, and I'll not be a Aghori. An Aghori, I'm saying, maybe I will, I don't know, but I won't be a guru. I have a guru, but I'm a student, and I'm enjoying this beautiful journey as a student. And hopefully whenever the time comes, I will get more intense. And but yes, I'm not initiating anybody, but yes, I've always guided youngsters here. Vishali, you must understand that today the youth, unfortunately, are fed with a lot of stuff which is not spiritual. So I'm trying my best. I'm not going out of my way, but such kind of podcasts, Meena, and the Insta lives, when I get youngsters getting so excited, and these are 21-year-olds here. Yeah. One guy from Goa calls me and says, "Sir, I want to really see that your videos do well. Can I help you out? I'm doing it with other people." Because he wants more people to view the video so that they get influenced. For me, that's more than enough here. Har Har Mahadev, that's it. I do my japa, I chant, I have podcasts with Meena ji, I'm happy. And my guru is there, no? That's it.
A true Indian says that SSR had met the Aghoris, wish they placed him well. What do you say?
Well, if
something's happened.
So, yeah. So and I mean, that's great. I don't know what the interaction was, but I hope they've placed him well, or his own past life samskaras have placed him well. I hope you understand that it's not just somebody to decide where you'll go. It's your past life samskaras also. And past life samskaras are, for me, Meena, it's not about you eat this or eat that. That is okay. That's one. It's about how good you are as a person. Yeah. For me, that's the samskara for me that matters the most. If I hurt somebody, if I harm somebody, then it's bad news for me for my next life, or even after I die. But if I'm good to people, I think I won't need anybody to take me anywhere. My samskaras will be there, my guru will be there. Or for Sushant, his Aghori gurus or people will help him, but his samskaras definitely will be the main carriers of his soul, wherever that they want to take him.
Yeah.
Wow,
You
interesting
as well.
questions, Meena. My God, very,
They
very.
are never
I must
ending.
say, no, but these questions, Meena, are like somebody said, how can you answer? Like, because it's live, right? It's not prepared, and I love this because I speak from my heart.
Yeah.
I speak. I say what I feel, and I feel what I say. Honest to God, nothing is wrong or right. It's just my perspective. Har Har Mahadev. Jasna says Har Har Mahadev.
Yeah. And
Namo
so well
Parvati Padaya
spoken.
Har Har Mahadev.
Yeah. And
Thank
so
you.
well spoken. Because see, you've given a clear picture of Aghoris, the sadhus, as well as see how people can change. We are at
Yeah.
certain levels. How we can go, slowly. We can go above and reach our full potential.
See all these things, no, this I'm just showing all these things, right?
Yeah.
These are all abstract creations, but if you go closer you'll find there are people there,
Yeah.
like here.
Yeah.
All these things happen when you go to places with such, I mean, somebody will say, how do you know electromagnetic waves? But I'm just saying there are some waves there, man. They just move you. I urge each one of you to make one trip to the Himalayas. Go to any part. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, Mayur, see, a lot of the times when I think of Shiva or look at his face, I get very
Yeah.
emotional because of the
Mm-hmm.
things that he does for us, and so
Mm-hmm.
selflessly. So he's a kind of entity that makes you,
Yeah.
happy and sad and emotional. Maybe we'll reach the Agori state later.
Yeah, yeah. Even understanding Aghoris in the right way itself is part of our sadhana.
Yes.
See, I'm a Hindu. Okay, I respect all other religions, but I'm a proud Hindu, and Aghoris are also, they are also part of Hinduism, right? They
Yeah.
only follow a different way. How can we disrespect them? Not we personally. I'm saying we just need to know them correctly,
Yeah.
and that's where I think our respect for them will increase multifold.
Yeah. Absolutely. One last question from Shilpa. Do you first meditate and then paint?
Yes. I also, so let me say this, Shilpa, to you and to all the viewers. Whenever I do my paintings, most of the times I take it to my guru and I show, I place it. So on my, what my guru looks at it and says, okay, your sadhana is going well, continue. That's it. I understand. It's not about how the
Yeah.
painting is. I mean,
Yeah.
they're at a different level. So when I showed this book, when I showed this book, I placed it at my Swamiji's feet. Just and tell me, Swamiji says, there is this mushroom thing you've written. Are they really there? These mushrooms, So he's picked up already, and all my guru said is that I bless you. What I'm very happy or impressed is that this book will reach more people and they will understand Aghoris better. That's what my guru said, and that's exactly what that's a blessing I got.
Yeah, I feel,
And here I
see,
am.
I feel, what Hollywood is doing by creating these robos is that, see, actually, these robos are Aghoris. They already have it. These gurus have it. They can read a million pages with just a swish of their finger. And this is what they capture and make as robos, and then
Yeah.
make it their own patented stuff.
Look, I mean, fair enough, give them the due, but see Avatar, the movie Avatar,
Yeah.
a lot of it is spiritual aspect that they picked up, Interstellar, many things, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay,
last,
Savvy Singh has, yeah, yeah.
yeah, can read Mayur's eyes. He can connect to past and future as well. Oh,
No,
all the comments are, I mean, exuding. So I'm sure
whatever
we'll reach
comments,
many more.
Meena, whatever comments come, I place all those at my guru's feet so that I am not burdened. I can do my Har Har Mahadev, and I want to also conclude by playing the thing. So once you're ready, you let me know.
Yeah, please, please.
Okay. So this is for all the viewers who are watching. If I can just request you from my heart to just close your eyes for some time. It's my way of, it's my way of saying thank you to Meena for inviting me, and thank you to all of you for investing your time and feeling the vibrations that I created through my thoughts. So let me please close your eyes. जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्तिषु स्फुटतराया संविदुजृम्भ्रते या ब्रह्मादि पिपीलिकान्ततनुषु प्रोता जगत्साक्षिणी सैवाहं न च दृश्यवस्थित दृढप्रज्ञापि यस्यास्ति चेत् चाण्डालोऽस्तु सतुद्विजोऽस्तु गुरुरित् येषा मनीषा मम। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was a lovely session. We're waiting for your next session even more eagerly. So,
thank you. I think it was a pleasure. Thank you very much. From my side, I'm done. You can say what you, as you want to conclude, but thank you from my side to all the viewers and to you.
Thank you, friends. And this is not the last. We'll be having more sessions with this brilliant novelist and a motivational speaker and a wonderful human being. So thank you, Mayur, from our viewers.
Yeah, just one thing, please, to all of you, please connect with me on Instagram. My handle is Mayur Author Trainer. So I'm there on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So feel free, because we can really enjoy more. I'll be coming Insta Live. I'll be chanting more, and you can ask me more questions. And Meena, my regards to you, your husband, your family, and I can see the painting behind you, which is very radiant. I've been sort of noticing it quite, eagerly. Very different, amazing. Thank you very much. Shambho, Har Har Mahadev.
Yeah,
Okay, so I leave now.